She looked me right in the eyes while telling another man she'd be in his bed tonight. And the worst part? She knew I was standing there. And she just kept talking. Tuesday morning. I left for work, like always. 5 minutes later, I realized I forgot my coffee thermos. So I turned around, parked, and came back inside. Quietly. No reason to make a scene. I wasn't ready for what I walked into. She was in the dining room. Phone to her ear. She didn't hear me at first, or maybe she did. I was halfway down the hall when I heard her say, "He has no idea. Honestly, I don't think he's ever really seen me." I froze. Didn't move. Didn't even blink. No, he won't suspect a thing. I'll say I'm at Mia's again. He buys that every time. God, it's too easy. And then, still on the phone, she turned, just slightly, and looked straight at me. Right. At me. 1 heartbeat. 2. And she just smiled. "Okay, babe. I'll text you once he's asleep." I didn't say a word. I picked up the thermos and left. No shouting. No fight. Just that line, echoing in my head. "I'll text you once he's asleep." Like I wasn't a person. Just some obstacle. A background character in her life. That's when I knew. She wasn't hiding it anymore. Because in her mind, I didn't matter enough to hide it. I didn't go to work that day. After I walked out with the thermos, I sat in my car and stared at my dashboard for, I don't know, 10 minutes? An hour? The time didn't mean anything. The sun was shining. People walked past with coffees in hand, earbuds in, living normal lives. But I was frozen. In that moment, I realized I didn't know who the hell I'd been living with for the past 7 years. And worse, I didn't know how long I'd been pretending not to notice. When we first met, Emily wasn't like this. At least, that's what I told myself. She was sharp, focused, witty. The kind of woman who made you feel like you needed to catch up just to keep her interest. I like that. I'm a software engineer. I'm used to quiet rooms and people who speak in logic. Emily was different. She filled the space. We met at a friend's housewarming. She corrected the guy pouring wine about the difference between Syrah and Shiraz. Not rudely, just enough to show she knew what she was talking about. I remember thinking, wow, she's intense. I like that. For a while, we worked. She had her marketing firm. I had my startup job. We moved in together after 14 months. Got married after 3 years. Bought a little house with a backyard and enough space for a dog we never got. I used to think that meant we were stable, that we were building something. Now I wonder if we were just settling in different directions and pretending it was love. Over the next few days, I became obsessed with remembering. I started going back in my head, playing back little moments, reconstructing conversations, the business trips, the girls' nights, the phone calls she took outside, the time she came home late and blamed traffic, the time she got cold when I asked how her day went, like I was interrupting a movie playing in her head. I remembered a night 6 months ago when I tried to initiate sex and she flinched. Actually flinched, like I was someone unfamiliar. She recovered quickly, kissed me, said she was tired. I apologized. And then I laid there, fully awake, wondering if I'd done something wrong. Now I think, she wasn't flinching from me. She was flinching from the lie she was building around me. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I acted like nothing had happened. I went home late, said I'd had a tough day at work, and gave her a kiss on the cheek. She smiled, poured me a glass of wine, and asked if I wanted Thai or Indian takeout. Just like that. Like nothing was broken. Like I hadn't heard her call another man babe while looking directly into my eyes. Her normalcy was more terrifying than any fight would have been. That night, I watched her. Every move, every word. I realized how well she played the role. She wasn't being fake. No, she was too good at this. She'd been this version of herself so long that it was real. At least to her. And I think I'd become a version of myself too, the quiet, predictable, unthreatening husband. The placeholder. I wondered if she even saw me anymore. I started checking. I went back through her social media. Her phone was face down on the table, always had been. I waited until she was in the shower and picked it up. Locked. I knew her code. I'd always known it. Her birthday. Reversed. Inside were the usual apps. Nothing overt. No messages from anyone named Babe. But there was a new folder in her photo gallery. Hidden folder. I opened it. 23 photos. All recent. Her at restaurants I didn't recognize. Her in outfits I hadn't seen. Her on the beach, alone. Or so it seemed. One picture caught me. It was a mirror selfie. She was in a hotel room. One I knew wasn't local. And in the background, blurred but unmistakable, was a man's reflection, shirtless, holding a phone. My stomach turned. Not because I didn't expect it. I did. But because it was so normal. No drama. No guilt in her expression. Just her, posing, confident, comfortable. Like she was home. That night I couldn't sleep. She lay beside me, scrolling through her phone, occasionally laughing at something. Once, she touched my arm. Softly. Not out of affection. Out of habit. And I laid there thinking, who the hell are you? But I said nothing. Not yet. Because I needed to know more. I needed the full picture. I didn't want to become that guy. You know, the one who checks his wife's phone, scans through old texts, follows her car just to confirm what his gut's already screaming. But once you hear the word babe drop from your wife's lips and know it wasn't meant for you, you stop caring about pride. You care about truth. The next morning, I waited for her to leave for work. She gave me her usual peck on the cheek, said, don't forget to eat today, like she hadn't shattered something fundamental in me 48 hours earlier. As soon as her car pulled out, I sat down at the kitchen table with her laptop. She always left it open, trusted me. And I guess, until now, I'd earned that trust by never giving her a reason to hide. Funny how betrayal makes you realize how easy you were to deceive. First place I checked? iMessage. Nothing unusual. Most texts were with coworkers or her mom. But there was a gap, a 3-hour window on Friday night when there were no messages at all. Nothing incoming or outgoing. We were supposedly watching a movie together that night. But I remembered she got up halfway through to take a call from Mia. Said she'd be back in 5 minutes. Took 30. Came back with red cheeks and a smirk she blamed on wine. I moved on to email. Then I found it. A draft, not sent, just sitting there. Titled, Can't Stop Thinking About It. I clicked. Inside was a message with no name. No greeting. Just 4 lines. You smelled like me when you got home last night. I like that. Think about me next time he touches you. Because I'll be thinking about you. My mouth went dry. She never sent it. Or maybe she copied it somewhere else. Maybe it was a backup. But the message existed. She wrote it. And it confirmed what I already knew. This wasn't just a fling. This was an invasion. I needed to know who he was. And I had a theory. There's one person who had been around more and more this past year. Someone I trusted, maybe more than anyone outside my own family. My best friend, Jason. Jason and I have been tight since college. Roommates junior and senior year. He was at our wedding. Gave the best man speech. Had Emily and me over for dinner more times than I could count. He's charming. Loud. Always has a story. He and Emily got along, sure, but I never saw any warning signs. No weird energy. No flirtation. At least, I didn't think I did. But now? Now I couldn't stop replaying certain things. How she always laughed at his jokes a little harder than mine. How she dressed a little better when we went to his place. How she defended him when he said something offensive. How, once, I found them talking in the backyard after a barbecue quiet, close. I walked up and she jumped, like a switch flipped. That moment felt weird at the time. I told myself I was overthinking. Now I wonder if that was the moment I missed the truth. I needed something concrete. And it came, unintentionally, that same night. Emily left her phone on the bathroom counter. Unlocked. I didn't plan it. I swear, I didn't. I just saw the screen light up. A preview from a photo app. New memory from last year, Catalina trip. We never went to Catalina. I tapped the notification. There it was. A photo I'd never seen before, Emily on a boat, holding a drink, wind in her hair. Sunglasses on. Smiling. And beside her? Jason, arm around her waist. His face partially hidden, but unmistakable. His watch, that gaudy, oversized gold thing he always joked about, reflected in the sun. The timestamp? May 14th, my birthday weekend. The one she said she was with her sister in Palm Springs. She left me alone on my birthday, so she could go sailing with my best friend. I stared at the image for a long time. That was the moment I stopped doubting. Stopped asking if I was imagining things. Stopped hoping I was wrong. They weren't just having an affair. They were erasing me together. I think people assume the moment you catch your partner cheating, it all explodes right then and there. Screaming. Throwing things. Packing bags. Tears. Shouts. Slammed doors. I used to think that too. But when the betrayal cuts deep enough, it doesn't come with fire. It comes with silence. Stillness. And then something colder. Strategy. I didn't confront her after the Catalina photo. I stared at it for 20 minutes, hands shaking. I felt sick. My jaw hurt. I was clenching it so hard I gave myself a headache. But I didn't run to her. Didn't throw her phone or punch a wall. Didn't even cry. I just saved the photo to a flash drive. Quietly. I uploaded the message draft too. I took screenshots of her messages, metadata from the photos, call logs. I archived it all, labeled everything clearly. Because now, I wasn't just a husband. I was an investigator. And the woman sleeping 6 feet from me was the suspect. That night, she brought me soup. No joke, soup. I told her I wasn't feeling well, because I wasn't. My body was literally rejecting this situation, and she made me homemade chicken noodle. She even kissed my forehead. That moment haunts me more than the photo. Not because of the kindness, but because of how easy it was for her to perform love. She wasn't nervous. Wasn't watching me. She truly believed I was clueless. She fed me soup with the same hand that texted, "I'll text you after he falls asleep." I started studying her. The way you'd study something venomous. Something beautiful and deadly. Every interaction became data. I tracked her schedule. Logged her time out of the house. Took photos of receipts she left in her purse. Started syncing her iCloud to an old iPad of mine. I even downloaded a GPS tracking app that pinged me when she entered or left certain locations. Yes, I know. It sounds insane. I hated myself for doing it at first. Felt like I was slipping into paranoia. But the truth is, I wasn't spying. I was confirming. And the more I watched, the worse it got. Thursday night. She told me she was going to a work mixer at a bar downtown. I checked her location. She drove right past that bar. Went to a hotel. 10 minutes later, she's offline. GPS drops. Phone on airplane mode. 3 hours later, she's back online. At Starbucks. Calls me on the way home. Says her phone died and she couldn't charge it. She even says, "I missed you." I say, "Yeah, I missed you too." Because I need her to keep thinking I'm asleep. That's how you catch a thief, by pretending the vault's still locked. Jason, meanwhile, radio silent. I hadn't spoken to him in weeks. He'd been busy with work the last few times I tried to set up a hang. Now I knew why. I was a threat to his fantasy, not just because I was Emily's husband, but because I'd always trusted him. And betrayal hits harder when it's personal. I wondered if he ever looked me in the eye and felt guilt. Or if, like her, he just got good at compartmentalizing. One night I sat in bed and stared at her while she slept. She looked peaceful. Content. I wondered what she dreamed about. If she ever thought about what it would feel like to be caught. To lose everything. Then I realized something. She didn't believe she could lose. Not really. Not me. Not her comfort. Not her little double life. She thought she was untouchable. And that's when I made a decision. I wasn't going to expose her yet. I wasn't even going to tell anyone. I was going to build something. Slowly. Patiently. Because when this ends, I want her to feel what I felt the moment she looked me in the eyes and lied. Not rage. Not violence. Just that quiet moment. When the person you trusted most becomes a stranger, and you realize they were always someone else. I didn't plan to confront her that night. But the opportunity came so cleanly, so naturally, that it almost felt scripted. It was a Saturday. We'd gone to a friend's birthday dinner, a couple we used to double date with before Emily's interest in that kind of thing faded. They invited us out of politeness. I almost didn't go. But then I thought, let's see how good she is at playing wife when other people are watching. Spoiler, she's flawless. She held my hand under the table, laughed at my jokes, corrected someone when they misremembered a story I'd told years ago, like only someone truly close to you could. Every smile, every glance, every, "Babe, do you want the rest of this?" Perfect. Seamless. The kind of chemistry people would envy. I caught one of our friends giving her a look like, "You're lucky to have him." I wanted to laugh. I wasn't watching a woman in love. I was watching an actress on autopilot. And the more I watched, the more I realized. She wasn't even pretending for me. She was performing for herself. Later that night, when we got home, I said it. "You know, I've been thinking about that weekend you went to Palm Springs with your sister." Her body froze, just for a second. Then the casual shrug. "Yeah? What about it?" "Something weird happened that day." "Like what?" I paused. Let the silence stretch just long enough to make her feel it. "Did I forget to text you or something?" "No," I said slowly. "I just remembered you were gone during my birthday." She smiled, almost relieved. "Ugh, yeah, that trip. My sister was having a meltdown. I didn't want to go, but you said it was fine." She was good. Too good. No blinking. No defensiveness. She went straight for emotional justification. Pulled in my own words to soften the frame. Expert level. But I kept going. "You know what's weird, though? I found an old email receipt. From Catalina. Another beat. Shorter this time. What? Catalina? No, I've never been there. She didn't flinch. She didn't panic. She denied with a calm, innocent laugh. Maybe it was someone else's name on it? No. It had your email. Your card. She tilted her head. That's bizarre. I've never used my card in Catalina. Must be a mistake. You know how digital receipts glitch sometimes. She looked me dead in the eye as she said it. And in that moment, I knew two things. She was fully committed to this lie. She thought I was dumb enough to believe her. Watching her lie like that, not nervous, not guilty, just clean and mechanical, was worse than the truth. The truth was already in me like a knife. But the lie was her hand on the handle, twisting. After that night, I stopped feeling confused. Not better. Not stronger. Just focused. She made it clear. There was no maybe. No explanation. No part of her still reaching for me. She'd chosen a version of herself that didn't include me. And I had a choice too. To play the part of the fool. Or finish the script my way. I called a lawyer the next day. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't scream. Didn't drink. Just made an appointment. Quiet and precise. Because if she wanted to lie her way through this, she'd have to do it with a spotlight on her. And the audience watching. The lawyer's office was quiet. Too quiet for the kind of conversation we were having. I sat on the opposite side of a blonde oak desk, holding a flash drive with everything I'd collected, photos, texts, timestamps, locations, call logs. My entire marriage condensed into 3.6 gigabytes of betrayal. She didn't ask many questions. Just nodded as I explained. I haven't confronted her yet. Not directly. I'm not here for advice on whether to leave. I'm here to leave the right way. She smiled. Not a kind smile. A professional one. Like a surgeon about to perform a clean cut. Then let's get to work. We talked logistics. Who owned what? Her income versus mine. Joint accounts. Property. Evidence admissibility. Exposure risks. Timing. She asked if there were kids. I said no. She said, that makes this faster. I left the office with a folder, a to-do list, and a strange feeling of empowerment. I wasn't healed. I wasn't even okay. But I had direction. And direction, I learned, is more powerful than anger. That night, I watched Emily pack for a team-building weekend retreat. She triple-checked her bag, laughed while trying on 2 different outfits, showed me a new pair of heels she'd gotten on sale. She kissed me before she left. I kissed her back. I even said, have fun. Because now I wasn't her husband. I was her shadow. I waited until I saw her location ping in the hotel on the other side of town, not the resort she claimed to be at. Then I called Jason. He picked up on the 3rd ring. Yo, man. Long time. Everything good? There was hesitation in his voice. A flicker of something. Maybe nerves. Maybe guilt. Yeah, I said, calm. I was hoping we could catch up. Sure. Yeah. When were you thinking? Tonight. Silence. Tonight? Kinda last minute. Yeah, I said, but it's important. We met at a bar near his place. Neutral ground. He showed up in a hoodie, smiling casual. Tried to dap me up. I shook his hand, didn't let go. Held eye contact. He sat. I waited. He ordered a beer. I waited. So, what's going on? I pulled out my phone. Opened the photo, Catalina. Slid it across the table. He went pale. Didn't even pretend not to know what it was. Look, he said. It's not what it out. Stop. He froze. Don't insult me with that line. He looked down. Swallowed. Nodded. I leaned forward. How long? He hesitated. Opened his mouth. Closed it. Jason. Since last spring, he said finally. Like 10, 11 months. My stomach tightened, even though I already knew. While we were still hanging out. You looked me in the eye. You toasted our anniversary with us. He nodded, ashamed. Whispered. Yeah. I didn't scream. Didn't punch him. Didn't even raise my voice. I just said. You're dead to me. I know. You don't. And then I left. I didn't go home right away. I parked outside the hotel. Waited. At 11:42 p.m., I saw her walk out. Hair up. Jacket zipped. Smiling. Getting into his car, someone I didn't recognize. Another man. Not Jason. That's when I realized. Jason wasn't the only one. You'd be surprised how fast the truth can lose to a lie when the lie comes with a smile. That week, I learned something I wasn't ready for. She had already prepared for this. Not the confrontation. not the divorce. The narrative. Emily was smart. I always knew that. I just didn't know how cold that intelligence could turn when she needed it to protect her image. I'd assumed, foolishly, that I'd be the first to speak. That when I filed for divorce, it would come as a shock. That she would be scrambling, trying to defend herself. Nope. She beat me to it. Monday morning, she must have sensed something. I hadn't said a word about the hotel, the man in the car, Jason, or the photo. But I was quieter, more composed. I think that scared her. She left early for work, barely kissed me goodbye. 2 hours later, I got a text from a mutual friend. Hey, just heard about you and Emily. I'm so sorry, man. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. I blinked. I hadn't told anyone. Then another message. Different friend. Same tone. Then a third. Didn't realize things were that bad. She said you were going through something, but wow. I'm shocked. She was already planting seeds. Framing the story. Quietly, quickly. And I was still trying to breathe. By Wednesday, the full version had reached the surface. Emily had been telling people that I'd become distant. That I'd been struggling mentally, shutting down emotionally, possibly even cheating on her. That she had tried everything, but I wasn't the man she married. She said she still loved me, but she didn't feel safe in the marriage anymore. It was brilliant. Not true, but brilliant. She framed herself as the woman trying to save something already broken. The supportive wife finally stepping away because she couldn't sacrifice her mental health anymore. People ate it up. Texts turned to calls. Calls turned to awkward conversations. Friends inviting me to hang out and then, gently, asking if I was okay. One even said, "You know, man, sometimes these things just happen. She's been so patient." I almost laughed. She'd cheated with my best friend. With strangers. Lied to my face for months. But she had been patient. Sure. I didn't defend myself. Not right away. Part of me wanted to. Part of me wanted to throw every screenshot, every photo, every GPS ping into the group chat and watch her narrative collapse. But I waited. Because if there's one thing I had learned watching her lie to me over and over again, it's that timing is everything. And when people are telling themselves a comforting story, they don't want the truth. They want a better lie. I let her talk. I let her perform. Then, I met with the lawyer again and signed the papers. That Friday, I handed them to her in the kitchen. She blinked. Real, genuine shock. Like I'd ripped a stage light off the ceiling. You really want to do this? I said nothing. We can go to therapy. I mean, we don't have to rush anything. I looked at her for a long time, studying her. Did you tell Jason the same thing when you were in Catalina? Silence. Her mouth opened, then closed. You don't know what you think you know. There it was. Not denial. Not apology. Just deflection. I nodded. You're right. I know more. I walked out. Later that night, I sent a message. To the same friends who'd been reaching out all week. To the ones who'd heard the script she wrote. One email. One Dropbox folder. Organized. Timestamped. I didn't add commentary. Just sent the link with the subject line. The rest of the story. I didn't hear from most of them after that. A few messaged back. Some apologized. Some were shocked. Some tried to play neutral. But it didn't matter. Because I wasn't doing this to win friends. I was reclaiming the truth. She'd played the part of the broken, betrayed wife. But now, they had the receipts. And suddenly, she didn't look so innocent anymore. The last time I saw Jason was by accident. 2 weeks later, at a grocery store. He was buying cheap wine and frozen pizza. Looked like hell. Saw me and froze. I didn't say anything. Just looked him in the eyes. He opened his mouth. I shook my head. Walked away. Some people don't deserve a second sentence. Emily tried reaching out twice after that. First was an email. Long, emotional. Said she was confused. Said I had changed. Said she didn't recognize me anymore. She was right. I wasn't the man she used to lie to. Second message came through her sister. A voicemail. Said Emily was having a breakdown. Said she missed me. That one almost got me. Almost. But you don't miss someone you were actively erasing. You miss control. And I wasn't hers anymore. There's a kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful. It feels surgical. That's what the house sounded like the morning I left. No music. No clinking dishes. Just the faint hum of the fridge and my own heartbeat. Emily was still asleep upstairs. I'd packed everything the night before. Quietly. Piece by piece. 3 boxes, 1 duffel, a laptop bag. The essentials. I wasn't taking the couch, the wedding china, the memories. Just what I needed to start over. I left my key on the kitchen counter, right beside the coffee pot she never cleaned. There was no note, no message. I figured silence would say more than words ever could. I didn't go far. Just across town to a friend's spare room. Neutral space. No questions. He didn't ask why I was leaving. He already knew. The Dropbox folder had spoken louder than anything I could have said. When I arrived, he opened the door, helped carry my boxes, and said, "Took you long enough." Emily called that afternoon. Once. Then twice. I didn't answer. The third time, she left a voicemail. "I don't understand what you're doing. You can't just disappear. We're married. Can we at least talk like adults?" The irony nearly made me laugh. Talk like adults? She'd been carrying on like a teenager sneaking out through the back window. But I didn't respond. Because there was nothing left to say. That week felt unreal. I went to work. Ate. Slept. Moved through the days like someone wearing a costume of themselves. Everyone kept telling me how calm I seemed. Like I was adjusting well. Like I was free. But inside, I was still unspooling. Slowly. Grief is weird like that. It doesn't hit you in waves. It hits in whispers. Like folding a shirt and realizing it still smells like her perfume. Or waking up and reaching for someone who isn't there. Or pouring 2 cups of coffee out of habit. The real break didn't come until day 5. I went back to the house to grab a package I'd forgotten to reroute. She wasn't home. But the bedroom door was open. The bed was unmade. There was a wine glass on my nightstand. Not hers. Mine. That little detail broke me. She was using my side of the bed, sleeping in it like I never existed. She hadn't tried to preserve anything. No shrine to what we were. No effort to pretend she missed me. She'd just taken over. Occupied the space. And I realized something. She didn't miss me. She missed control. That night, I booked a therapy session. First time in years. Told the guy everything. Laid it all out like evidence. He didn't say much at first. Just listened. Then asked me one question. "Do you want to heal? Or do you want to win?" I didn't answer right away. Because I didn't know. At some point, those things had become the same in my mind. Winning meant making her feel what I felt. Losing meant walking away with nothing. But healing? Healing was different. Healing was accepting that the apology would never come. That the reasons would never make sense. That closure was something I'd have to give myself. That night, I deleted the GPS app. I archived the folder. I turned off the notifications on the account I'd used to watch her lies unfold. Not because she deserved peace, but because I did. Emily kept calling. For days. Voicemails. Emails. Even a letter. The handwriting looked shaky. She said she missed the life we had. Said she still believed in us. Said I was being cruel. But silence isn't cruelty. It's clarity. And I wasn't punishing her. I was letting her sit in the world she created. Alone. You can't lie your way back into someone's trust. And you can't rewrite a story once the truth has been read aloud. I left the house quietly. But inside me, something slammed shut. And this time, it wasn't coming open again. Healing didn't come in some cinematic moment. No sunrise epiphany. No dramatic haircut. No sudden peace. It came in tiny, ordinary things. Like walking into the grocery store and not thinking about what she used to buy. Like drinking my coffee hot instead of letting it go cold while I checked her location. Like hearing a song she used to play and letting it finish. For the first time in years, I started living with just myself in mind. Not out of spite. Not because I wanted to prove something. But because I needed to remember who I was before I became the man she reshaped. I started running again. Took the long way home just to watch the trees change. Started writing. Nothing profound. Just pages of thoughts. Fragments. Truths I couldn't say out loud yet. My therapist said it was like rebuilding a house on scorched land. You don't pretend the fire never happened. You just stop living in the ashes. I still had bad days. Still caught myself wondering what she was doing. Still felt the ghost of her voice when I walked past certain places. Once, I almost texted her. Just one word. Why? But I stopped. Because I already knew the answer. It didn't matter what story she'd tell. It would be justification, not truth. And I wasn't looking for another version of her. I was learning how to live without needing one. Funny thing happens when people realize you're not broken anymore. They don't know what to do with you. I started getting messages again. People who had disappeared during the drama, now circling back. Small talk. Check-ins. Invitations to hang out. Some even said they were glad I was doing better. But I wasn't doing better. I was doing honest. And sometimes honest still hurt. But it was clean. Quiet. Real. One night, I ran into someone who'd always believed her side of things. A mutual friend. Let's call her Claire. She looked nervous. Guilty. Like someone meeting the ghost of a lie. Hey. I heard what happened. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I shrugged. You believed what you were told. I get it. Still, I should have asked you. Should have checked in. People believe what comforts them. She nodded. She's not doing great, by the way. I didn't respond. Because that wasn't my burden anymore. There was no dramatic redemption. No revenge. Just space. And in that space, something new started to grow. A version of me that didn't live under someone else's shadow. A version that didn't need closure, because the door was already closed, and locked, and behind me. People think healing looks like smiling again. But sometimes it just looks like sitting in a quiet room and feeling nothing. And realizing that nothing is better than chaos. I saw her again. Not planned. Not expected. Just one of those moments the universe throws at you to see if you're really as healed as you pretend to be. I was at a bookstore. New part of town. Looking for a gift. Turned the corner, and there she was. Emily. Same walk. Same hair. Same eyes that used to read me like a script. But she didn't look the same. Something in her posture was off. She looked smaller. Not physically, just diminished. Like someone trying to hold themselves together with invisible string. She saw me. Froze. Then gave a small, careful smile. Hi. I nodded. Hey. Silence. You look good, she said. Thanks. She hesitated. Do you have time to talk? Just 5 minutes. I almost said no. But something in me wanted to know where this would go. Not because I needed anything from her, but because I needed to hear her try. We sat at a small table in the cafe attached to the bookstore. She ordered tea. I didn't order anything. She started slow, asking about my job, my health, my family, surface-level things. Then came the pivot. I just wanted you to know. I never stopped caring about you. I stayed quiet. I think about us a lot. About everything I destroyed. Still quiet. And I know I can't take it back. But I guess I hoped you'd understand. Eventually. That maybe you could forgive me. I studied her face. Not because I didn't believe her, but because I wanted to remember what her lies looked like when they wore regret. She kept talking. About how Jason disappeared from her life. How her job felt empty now. How people stopped calling back. How her sister wouldn't even look her in the eye. I ruined everything. She was crying now. And maybe those tears were real. Maybe they weren't. I didn't care. Because they weren't for me. They were for the version of her she couldn't rebuild. I waited until she finished. Then I leaned forward and said the only thing I planned to. You didn't lose me. You lost the person I was when I loved you. She looked confused. What do you mean? I mean I loved you with everything I had. And you used that love like a shield. You counted on it to protect you from consequences. You thought it would hold even when you stopped earning it. She started to speak, but I held up a hand. You didn't lose me. You killed who I was. And the person I became after? He doesn't love you. She looked like she'd been hit. And for the first time, I saw it. The moment she broke. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just a single exhale that collapsed her whole frame. I stood. Take care, Emily. She didn't stop me. Didn't call after me. Just watched as I walked away. And as I reached the door, I realized something. The last lie I ever told her was that I forgave her. I didn't. I just stopped needing to. Sometimes peace isn't found in closure. It's found in the space where you finally stop waiting for it. And that's where I live now. Free.